I'm going to stay with this now. The former Metropolitan Police Detective Chief Inspector Mike Neville is here. Thank you very much for coming on the programme.
Thank you. Tragic killing.
It is, and this, again, obviously will throw the spotlight on policing itself. What's your assessment of where we are in the UK at the moment?
I really do think this is a watershed moment, a time to change. The police have lost their way. We know that 95% of burglaries go unsolved. Something needs to be done. In the first place, you'd hope Merseyside would flood the streets with bobbies on the beach, giving reassurance, and schools officers will be telling children this isn't an everyday event, trying to get the young minds off this. But in the medium term, really, the police need to audit what are they doing. No more dancing the Macarena or anything like that. Let's look at every different department in the police. Are they targeted on fighting crime? Are they preventing and detecting crime? If they're not, then it needs to change, because the focus has gone away. It's simply people are living in fear of crime, and they think that the police have given up. And they also
but surely that can't be obviously that can't be the case, is it? You're obviously not accusing ordinary officers up and down the country of giving up. So what is going on?
It comes from the top. There are lots and lots of dedicated officers, but too many chief constables are focusing on the wrong things. There's almost too much wokery, too much political correctness, too much focus on things that don't affect everyday lives. People need to know that if things get stolen from them, the property's damaged, or that house is burgled, they need to feel safe on the streets. And they just see too much of. Last year, for example, Merseyside Police had a big banner saying causing an offence is an offence, and had 4 officers by the side of it. Then they had to apologise because causing an offence isn't an offence. And those 4 officers would have been better deployed trying to catch burglars. And the public.
But obviously there will be those individual examples, and there will also be people actually saying what you define as wokeism is actually an important project to try and make the police force more diverse, or whatever particular issue it is that you mean by wokeism. And these are actually things that need to happen. You want a police force that reflects, for example, the public that it is policing. So I don't quite know what you mean by that, but there will be specific examples. But that isn't going to be the majority of police time, isn't it? Is it?
It's a lot of police. It's a focus. What we have here is a lack of focus. There's a lack of focus on crime. So it's almost seemingly that the police have become a crime report number issuing society for insurance claims. So when people's houses are burgled, often the police don't even turn up to that. And this is what the public see. And then the public see the news reports of an 87-year-old man being stabbed to death in the street. This report of a young girl killed in her own home. It's not good enough. And the facts are these. I've never had anybody complain to me that they didn't like the colour or sexuality of the officer who came to help them. What they complain about is the lack of professionalism, or just the fact that somebody's not turned up to help them for that much. So that bike theft might seem minor, but if it's a child getting to school, or somebody's tools out of the van, that's an important thing. And it's almost like shoplifting, for example. Theft, fraud has been almost forgotten. No one deals with it anymore. And what happens is that criminals see that they can get away with that. They can dominate the area by drug dealing and gangs. And what happens is the normal people, whoever they are, black or white, have to live in fear.
Well, we're going into a period now.
We're
going into a period now where you say the focus needs to change, but surely I imagine you would argue for more resources too. But that's going to be very difficult. The years ahead don't look like we're going to be in a position where we can throw lots more money at every single government department.
Well, that's as I say, there needs to be an audit of what's going on. And if police officers are not focused on the primary duty, which is to prevent and detect crime, then they need to be put on those primary duties. Everything else is a bonus. And you say about diversity, the police has got more and more diverse, yet the detection rate for burglary, for example, is halved in the last 10 years. So I'm not bothered about what the colour of officers are who turn up to my house. I want, like most members of the public, the police to do an effective job and stop criminals. And also, it's also down to the Home Secretary that we've allegedly had a Conservative government for over a decade, and yet all this has gone on during the party of law and orders, allegedly, rule. So she needs to focus the police on what they should be doing, which is making people feel safe and confident that they can live their lives without being attacked or assaulted.
OK, Mike Neville, thank you so much for coming on the programme. Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problems.